Hello, this is Blaine Gray from Plastering For Beginners, and today I'm going to show you how to plaster a ceiling. I've got a GoPro here, so everything looks a bit curved, but basically, this is the first stage, and we're going to do the first coat on the ceiling. So starting the back end of the room, left to right, like you do with a wall, start putting it on. It's generally quite a thick coat for your first coat, and try and get it as even as possible, basically. Put it on consistently and try and trowel your lines out as you're going. Work to your corners and work to the back edge of the wall. Make sure the plaster is filled in everywhere and you ain't got any gaps, because it's going to be a nightmare. If you can get as much filled, get it as consistent as possible, you'll be on a winner there. So yeah, there's a big reason wearing a cap as well, because when you're starting out, the plaster will fall. It'll get in your eyes, it'll probably get in your hair. So just try and wear a cap, just keeps it off. I mean, beginning ceilings are quite hard, and the biggest trick is not to put too much on your trowel, because it can flow over, it can come back on yourself. So at the beginning, I just use little amounts and get used to the motion. It's different to plastering a wall, so I just get involved and give it a go. So as you can see, I've done the back edge, and now I'm going to work to the centre. So if you can, trowel right to the centre of the room. And that way, when you come to the other side, there won't be any joints. The idea is to have as little trowel lines as you can. So if you can meet your plaster in the middle, it's a lot easier. Otherwise, you'll be working in sections of thirds, and there might be a lot more to plaster out in the future. So if you can work to the middle, it's a lot easier. Obviously, try and cover all your scrim tape. It's another reason why you want a thick coat, because if you don't, it'll show through. As you can see now, there's been a progress made working the final section, and you can see where I'm meeting in the middle. You can trowel your lines out, and there's no real joins, so it's alright. Again, keeping it smooth, keeping it even, but it comes with time. You get better at doing that, but you'll find the more you plaster, the easier it'll be to get plaster without leaving any trowel marks behind. So this is the final section, and that's the end of the first coat. So you can see, with effort, you can do it quite consistently, but again, it just takes practice. The worst thing is just getting used to plastering a ceiling, really, and stopping gravity hitting you. Stage 2, this is 31 minutes in. I'll put the times on, and I've also done a wall in that time, but we won't go into that. I'm just focusing on the ceiling. I just had plaster left over, so I'll put it on as well. Second coat, similar thing, but you want a thinner coat this time. You generally, second coat is always a thinner coat to the first. So usually, a lot of people will trowel plaster out first, but if you're good, if you get better, you can skip that stage and go straight to plastering it. Guys at Plastering For says the same thing. There's no point going back over it again. If you can plaster with a nice finish at the beginning, you don't have to go back and trowel any lines out. So spend that extra time in getting a nice finish at the beginning. Again, same procedure, follow the same, and work to the back edge, coming in, careful of your corners. Make sure at this point you fill in any holes in or any sections that have been left behind, and just go in the same direction what we did the first time. Left, back to the right, and then follow back round. Yeah, you should be on a winner. Obviously, because that wall's there, I'm taking a bit of time, make sure I'm not hitting, and trying to keep the outer edge clean, but we won't go into that. I recommend, as a beginner, just work on hard angles. At the beginning, don't work with wet plaster on both sides. You just struggle. It makes it hard for yourself. So yeah, again, thin coat, making it smoother still this time. Keeping it nice, trying making it even, and this time just fill in any sections that you've missed out. It's hard to see where I've plastered here, but basically, same direction, like I said. Meeting in the middle, same process. There we go. That's it, as you can see there. And at this stage, you've probably got an idea and you get a hang of it, because it takes a while to get used to ceilings, but after you've done a few, it's all good. The main thing is just trying it. It's not too much different from the wall. Again, it's just not overloading your trowel. That's when it gets tough, because it can overspill. At this point, I've done my second coat. Everything's clean, bucket's cleaned out. I've just got a little trowel here, margin trowel, and I'm cleaning the edges off. Getting any remains off the outer wall, and just getting ready for the trowel overs now. But this is a good point at this stage, whilst your plaster's wet, to have a good clean up. Clean any sections and get your edges ready for finishing, really. Otherwise, you might be rushing and you totally forget, and before you know it, plaster's setting, it's too late to do it. So it's stage 3. It's been an hour and 5 minutes now. First trowel over. Still using Marshalltown. A lot of people, some people might go to a Superflex trowel, for example, but I stick to the Marshalltown until the second trowel over, really. At this point, I don't need any water, but we will get to that next stage. But it's still quite wet. I'm just troweling any lines out, and you can see making it smoother. This is the stage now where we want to start making it look good. If there's still any holes, you get fat on the edge of your trowel, which I will show you in a minute. And you use the fat to fill any sections that are a bit bare, or fill any hollows or sections that are a bit gappy. You've just seen there, I must have had one section, but I filled it, troweled it over, start smoothing it out. Again, you want to do this at this stage, don't want to leave it too late, otherwise it might be an issue as it's setting, and you might not get anything from your trowel. So this is the best stage to do it. Again, just troweling it out, and you can see the finish is starting to come up now. The trowel's bringing the moisture to the front of the plaster, and you can start getting a nice finish on it. So this is stage 3, and all in all, there'll be 6 stages to it. So it's all good. Work into your edges again, and now because you've cleaned them off, it's a lot easier to get a tight finish on your edge. Make sure there's no holes. And then working again the same direction as what we've done all the way through. Look, you see on the edge there of the trowel? We've got a lot of fat. That's called fat, and that's the wet plaster you get, and that's what you use to fill any sections with. Yeah, that's what you use to fix any little holes and repair it as you go, making a nice finish towards the end. So yeah, again, meeting in the middle, take any lines out, trowel any sections off. There we go. Starting to look a bit nicer now. Starting to look like a nice ceiling. Again, be aware of your scrib tape. If it's showing at this stage, it's probably too late, really, because you can't put anything else on. So that's why you want to make sure your first coat is thicker, covering all your scrim, and everything's been covered and nothing's revealing through. Otherwise, it'll be a nightmare, and it might come through in your paint. So just be wary of that. Stage 4, it's been an hour and 29 minutes. Got the second trowel over. This time, I'm using my water brush here. Wetting the edges because it's starting to take up now, starting to set. And just add a bit of moisture to it. This stage, you don't need too much really. It's drying, but it's nowhere near solid. So just a bit of lubrication with the water. Again, just getting a nice finish, smoothing it out. And you can see it's really coming up now. Again, fill up your water. You get a little bit of fat on your trowel, but again, you want to put it back onto the ceiling. You don't want to take it off. Put it back into your work. Fill in any sections as you go, and yeah, just making sure you're getting a nice smooth finish. The water will help a lot. I mean, you might get to it, the ceiling's dried a bit faster, so you might need water at the previous stage, but this is a wet trowel now. I'm using a Rafina Superflex at this stage. The wall's taken up. It's a bit harder. Oh, there's my cup of tea. Look at that. That's good service, isn't it? So yeah, it's a bit harder. So you want a bit of. This trowel is amazing. It's really easy to work with, and it just gets a generally really nice finish. It's nice. It's not tension on you and your elbows. It's just decent. So I definitely recommend getting a Rafina Superflex. Everyone goes on about them. I'm dubious at first, but yeah, I'm a big fan. Wetting your edges as you're going. Just getting a nice finish. Clean your trowel as you go at this stage. It's probably too late to be filling anything. You just really want to refine that finish now. Flatten it. Taking any final marks out, and now we're simply smoothing it over. They call it a wet trowel because wetting the edges, wetting the plaster, and then the next stage you finish with a dry trowel, which means no water, just a nice finish with a dry, clean edge. But yeah, you can see that water's bringing it through, making it easier to finish the plaster, but you're not taking anything off. So this is it, the final trowel over, 2 hours, 9 minutes, no water to the edges now, dry trowel. And that's it, that's when you start getting the results. It's your final polish up. So, yeah, it's going well. That's it. If you're at this stage, you're literally just finishing it, giving it its final trowel, just to give it a smooth finish, making it nice for the painter, and hopefully a nice matte finish. You don't want it too shiny or too smooth because it's a nightmare for the painter to finish with, but that's it. Again, same direction, finishing off, and you should, if you follow this pattern and follow this method, you should get a nice finish. Again, it's tricky at first, but as a beginner, you can do it. There you go, nice consistency, nice even finish. Yeah, that's it. The wall there, I'll show you how to do angles to angles at another stage, but for now it was just the ceiling. So that's it. Plain grey finished at 2 hours 28 minutes, and it's plastering for beginners. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and like, and yeah, if you enjoyed it, follow me for more. Thanks a lot.